The Charlottesville Tom Sox quest to defend their 2019 VBL title begins tonight as Game 1 of the Valley League playoffs is set to go underway here at Crutchfield Park as the Tom Sox host the Waynesboro General in a first-round best-of-3 playoff series. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the broadcast. I'm Zach Lambert, joined by my broadcast partner for the evening, Brooke Stake, and it should be a great game and a great series as Game 1 of a best-of-3 series sees the Tom Sox trot out Dylan Yanak on the mound, and the Generals will be countering with Bradley Wilson out of ECU. So, Brooke, I'll throw it to you now. What can you tell us about Dylan?
Well, it's really exciting that Dylan is starting on the mound tonight. He's making his 7th start of the season tonight, which is pretty impressive. He also has a lot of season highs here, but most recently he has 5 scoreless innings at Purcellville, which was just a couple weeks ago. He struck out 6 batters that game, so we should look out for a lot tonight from him.
Should be in for a good pitching matchup. Yanak, an all-star this season. Last time out, he went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, walked 3, and struck out 2 against Front Royal. That was on the 19th. The lineup for the Generals here in Game 1, they're going to lead off with Michael Robinson at shortstop, Will Prater batting second and at second. At third base, batting third, Alejandro Figuereto. Alonzo Rubalcaba bats fourth. He is behind the plate tonight. Brandon Pimento is in left, and he bats fifth. Batting sixth, Alex Aruz. He's at third base. The designated hitter, Joey Rezick, is hitting seventh. Max Weller in center bats eighth. And rounding out the lineup is Steven Wilmer in right field. The defense behind Yanak for the Tom Sox from third to first. It's Bennett, Foster, Iser, and Langford. And the outfield from right to left, Spikes, Amos, and Castillo, with Ochoa doing the catching for the Rice Owl, Dylan Yanak. Once again, this is Game 1 in a best-of-3 series. These two teams actually played each other last night, which was a 5-1 win for the Generals.
Yes, really exciting to see that this game is being played again tonight as we just faced them last night. But with that win for Waynesboro last night, they claimed the season series 4-3.
And the Tom Sox, if there's one team that they've struggled against this season in their 30-10 regular season, it has been these Waynesboro Generals. Lost the season series to them, as you mentioned, Brooke. Waynesboro won it 4-3, and the Tom Sox just overall really struggled offensively. Last night they scored in the bottom of the first inning, 1 run, and then that was it. Really nothing going offensively for Charlottesville, and it'll be interesting to see how they can bounce back. And on the Tom Sox Today podcast earlier today that I was on with Eric Fenstermaker, we were discussing, is this possibly the hardest opponent that the Tom Sox will have to face in the playoffs just because of how much they've struggled with them?
For sure. I was going to say, I was at the game Waynesboro away a couple weeks ago, and we sadly took the loss to them. But I know we've been up and down with them all season, so hopefully we can get the win here tonight.
So Michael Robinson digs in to get things going. The right-handed batter is at shortstop today for the Waynesboro Generals, leading things off out of South Carolina. Yanak is ready. Ochoa flashes the sign. The windup and the first pitch of the Valley League playoffs in 2021 misses outside a ball. First pitch, 7:01. Here on a beautiful Saturday evening at the end of July. The 1-0 is a slider that Robinson tries to check his swing but cannot. It's 1 ball and 1 strike now. Robinson was 1 for 2 last night, drove in a run and scored a run. And he swings through a 1-1 pitch and is down in the count now. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'm interested to see how fast the pitching goes these first couple innings, because last night it went extremely fast, I thought.
Yeah, 10 up, 10 down to start the day. As the 1-2 is hit on the ground to second. Iser fields and throws over to first base for the first out of the inning. So a 4-3 put out to get things going today. And that'll bring up Will Prater, who was batting leadoff last night for the Generals, is slotted at number 2 today. Went 0 for 5 last night and snapped a little 6-game hitting streak that he was riding. Did score a run, though, in that 3-run 9th inning, which is really what sealed the deal for the Generals. Prater bats from the left side of the plate in the first pitch. Misses down low. 1 ball and no strikes. It's been a cloudy day so far in Charlottesville, but no rain here at Charlottesville High School as the 1-0 is also downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes now to Prater.
Yes, the rain held off earlier before the game. They're calling for some rain in a couple minutes, but I don't think that's going to happen.
2-0 is inside, and Yannock way behind Prater now. 3 balls and no strikes. Prater at 238, no home runs, 7 RBIs on the season. The windup in the 3-0 finds the outside corner, 3 balls and a strike, and walks have been a bit of an issue for Yannock in his all-star campaign so far. He's walked 24 batters in 26 and 2/3, and the 3-1 just finds the bottom of the zone. Prater thought it was ball 4, but has to remain in the lefty batter's box as the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just underway here, scoreless ball game. Payoff pitch is grounded to Foster at short, gobbles it up and throws across to Langford for a 6-3 put out in the second out of the inning, and it's 2 up, 2 down here in the first for Dylan Yannock.
Cole Foster has been playing extremely well in that shortstop position. He's been a key player. You know, I keep seeing him get so many ground outs recently.
Yeah, Foster, a mainstay of the Tom Sox so far this season, has appeared in 39 of the 40 regular season games. And with 2 outs and the bases empty, it'll bring up the all-star Alejandro Figuereto, who's 1 for 5 last night and scored a run. And the first pitch is way outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Figueredo is 16th in the league in average at 303. He's also tied for 3rd in triples with 2. Tied for 8th in RBIs with 26. He's all over the leaderboards as the 1-0 hits the inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. He's got 2 home runs as well to his name. 119 at-bats on the season. The 1-1 is low and in. 2 balls and 1 strike now to the 3-hole hitter Alejandro Figueredo, who's at first base. Tom Sox today in their green jerseys with the blue sleeves, blue numbers and white lettering across the chest as the 2-1 is skied into left field. Pretty well hit. Castillo going back. He's at the track at the wall. Step in front of the wall. Puts it away to retire the side. So a long 3rd out, but Dylan Yannock works a 1-2-3 first inning. And after half an inning of play, it's the Generals nothing and the Tom Sox coming to bat. As Crutchfield Park sings a happy birthday to Tom Sox owner and president Mike Paduano, we are back for the bottom of the first inning in a scoreless ball game. The starting lineup for the Charlottesville Tom Sox, it's Pierce Bennett leading off, Logan Amos in the 2-hole, and Victor Castillo batting 3rd. The designated hitter Adam Cesiri is in the cleanup spot, leads the team with 4 home runs. Wyatt Langford is at first base tonight, bats 5th. The backstop, RJ Ochoa, batting 6th. Garrett Spikes, he's out in right field tonight, bats 7th. Cole Foster at shortstop. We saw him make a nice play in the top half of the first inning. He's batting 8th. And flipping the lineup over for Coach Corey Kohler's squad is the NC State product, Eddie Eisert. So once again, that's Bennett, Amos, Castillo, Cesiri, Langford, Ochoa, and Spikes, Foster, Eisert. The defensive alignment for the Generals today. Around the infield, Araz at 3rd, Robinson at short, Prater at 2nd, Figueredo is at first base, and in the outfield it's Wilmer, Weller, and Pimento from right to left, with Rubalcaba doing the catching for Wilson, who is ready and winds and deals his first pitch to Pierce Bennett, and it's taken at the top of the strike zone, no balls and a strike.
Now, you mentioned that they just sang happy birthday to Mike Paduano, the Tom Sox owner, but what's interesting is he used to own the Generals as well.
Yeah, 1 misses high, 1 ball and 1 strike, and saw some Generals players saying hi to Mike before a couple of the games, so can't say enough for how much he does for this Tom Sox organization. As the 1-1 is outside. 2 balls and a strike now. The stats on Bradley Wilson out of ECU. He's 1-1 on the season with a 6.54 ERA. Appeared in 6 games and made 5 starts. The 2-1, a good two-seamer. Runs back over the outside edge and evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff man, Bennett.
Bennett currently has a hit streak of 5 games, and he's hit in 14 of the last 16 games.
And right on cue, he lines one back up the box and a base hit into center field for Bennett, who extends that hitting streak to 7 now. And with nobody out and a man on first base, it'll bring up Logan Amos. Some more stats on Bradley Wilson. In the regular season, he threw 22 innings, gave up 31 hits, struck out 18 and only walked 9. Got touched up a little bit his last time out. Only went 2 1/3 innings and gave up 5 earned runs against Stanton. The first pitch to Amos finds the outside corner, no balls and a strike.
Amos is definitely one of the leaders on the Tom Sox right now with 21 runs, 8 doubles, and 16 RBIs.
Yeah, comes in tied for the team lead with those 8 doubles. He was 0 for 3 last night. Came in the 5th inning for Victor Castillo. And has just been scorching hot in the month of July. 377, 7 doubles and 13 RBIs, as well as 13 runs to close out his season.
He's definitely backed up his 2019 VBL MVP candidacy.
And he slaps this one on the ground through the left side, a base hit into left field, and the first 2 Tom Sox batters to come to the plate have singled, and it's runners on first and second for Victor Castillo now with nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
And it looks like they're already getting their bats hotter than last night with 2 guys on base.
They did score 1 in the bottom of the first, but yeah, the hits were kind of at a premium last night, as already down in that Waynesboro bullpen, there's some action. In a best-of-3 series, you really cannot afford to go down 1-0, because then you got to sweep a team in 2 games, and not an easy task to do, especially against a team that went 30-10 this season in the Tom Sox. So Victor Castillo stands in from the left side, and the first pitch to him is a fastball on the outer edge, 0-1.
Depending how the games go as well, if they would win 2 in a row, you know, having an off day between all these games wouldn't be bad.
Castillo was 1 for 2 last night. Mentioned that Amos came in for him in the 5th inning. Stands in the left side of the plate, slightly open stance in the 0-1. Is a breaking ball outside, 1-1. Castillo was a member this season of the Covington Lumberjacks before their season ended prematurely, and he hit .313 there with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and he also stole 13 bags. He's hitting .389 through his first 6 games with the Tom Sox. He was an all-star for the Lumberjacks, and the 1-1, another fastball on the outside corner.
Yeah, I got to see him play at the VBL All-Star game I covered, and it was interesting to see him already bond with the Tom Sox players there before he switched over.
He's behind in the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Middle infield at double play depth, outfield straight away for Castillo. And he swings and taps this one down the first baseline, foul. So we'll try it again, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Castillo has been a huge addition for the Tom Sox down this stretch run. Somebody that as soon as he came to the team was inserted promptly into the starting lineup, and there he has stayed. And we've seen him man center field. We've seen him man left field where he is tonight. Made a catch on the warning track to end the top of the first. We're still scoreless here, bottom of the first. Runners on first and second, nobody out. The 1-2 waves at a fastball upstairs and strikes out for the first out of the inning. So 1 out, still runners on first and second for arguably the hottest Tom Sox hitter of late, Adam Cesiri. Cesiri comes in with a 1080 OPS. 4 home runs on the season. Hit 2 of those in the same game against Covington. Was riding a 6-game on-base streak going into last night, but failed to get on base. But he did drive in a run in an 0 for 4 performance. The first pitch to him is in the dirt for a ball.
And if I'm not mistaken, Cesiri has the most home runs for the Tom Sox this season.
He does, yes. 4 of them to his name. And a team that's only hit 19 home runs, which has him tied for 10th in the entire league with Covington. Tied for dead last and tied with a team that ended their season early. In a big ballpark here at Crutchfield Park as Cesiri awaits a 1-0. It's over the outside corner, and the count's even now. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I remember talking to our coaches at the All-Star game if they had to send Cesiri's name for the home run derby, and they wish they could have.
Ultimately, no Tom Sox were in the home run derby, but the champion resides on the Waynesboro Generals roster, Zach Levinson. A 1-1 to Cesiri. Foul tipped back into the glove of Rubalcaba, and the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Tom Sox cleanup hitter today. A big, imposing lefty batter. Chokes up ever so slightly now with 2 strikes. Wyatt Langford's on deck. Wind blowing a little bit here at Crutchfield Park as Cesiri digs back in. Stands in the far back of the box, and the 1-2 is a fastball that runs high, and Cesiri holds. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This rain may be coming that we were talking about earlier, but hopefully it just passes by. But the wind is definitely going to be a factor in the game if it picks up.
Yeah, you can see there's kind of a forest out down the right field line, and you can see the leaves on those trees really starting to pick up here in the bottom of the first. Still nothing. The 2-2 to Cesiri is a breaking ball, swung on and missed for strike 3. And back-to-back strikeouts now, and Wilson's 1 out away from working out of a jam here in the bottom of the first. So Wyatt Langford now up for the Tom Sox. One of the most reliable hitters for them all season long. .345 on the season, has him good for 7th in the league.
He definitely has been reliable, but his 16-game on-base streak ended on Friday.
He takes the first pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. And yeah, you mentioned that 16-game on-base streak he was riding. It was the longest by any Tom Sox player this season. And he went 0 for 2 before Garrett Spikes pinch hit for him in the 6th inning. He also lost a 6-game hitting streak in that 0 for 2 effort. The 1-0 finds the zone. It's a ball and a strike now to the Florida Gator, Wyatt Langford. Should he extend the inning, it's R.J. Ochoa on deck. Tom Sox trying to break through here in the bottom of the first. They got Pierce Bennett on second after a leadoff single, and Logan Amos singled right after him. He leads off first base. The 1-1 just misses high with a fastball, 2 balls and 1 strike. And one thing I'm noticing from Wilson so far is his fastball really has some good life. 2-seamer's got some good run on it and has some nice pop to the mitt of Rubalcaba. It's 2 balls and a strike now on Wyatt Langford. Here it is. Breaking ball freezes him and finds the inside corner. And the count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs. Wilson has racked up back-to-back strikeouts after allowing back-to-back singles, looking for his 3rd strikeout in a row. He comes set at the belt, checks Bennett at second, now looks home. The 2-2, fastball high, full count. And the runners will be off with the pitch, 3-2, 2 outs. A big spot early in this ball game with Yannock on the mound for the Tom Sox. Game 1 of the first round of the playoffs. Best of 3 series. The payoff pitch to Langford and a tie, ball 4. Langford draws a walk, extends the inning, and loads the bases for R.J. Ochoa. A good at-bat there from Wyatt Langford, and as Ochoa takes off his shin guards, picks up his bat, he heads to home plate. Ochoa last night played innings 4 to 6 as Coach Kohler got all of his catchers in there. Cooper Ingle, one of the feel-good stories of the year, started the game behind the plate and got his first hit after he got hurt in the first game. Doubts whether he would come back. He did come back. Got his first hit of the season. Then Ochoa came in for him in the 4th in the first pitch. Top of the zone, no balls and a strike.
You know, something that's interesting is that Ochoa actually played 2 seasons at San Jac with Corey Kohler, so they already had that connection before he came in with the Tom Sox.
Wilson working from the windup now, misses high with the 0-1 pitch. It's a ball and a strike, and yeah, Ochoa said that Coach Kohler gave him a call and said, we need some catchers due to some injuries, and Ochoa more than willing to come down to Charlottesville, and he takes the 1-1 low and away, 2-1. Zach Lemus as well, another guy on the Tom Sox roster who was a late addition to the team that also played for Coach Kohler at San Jack. Ochoa only 2 hits on the season. He's 2 for 8 at 250, but both hits have left the yard. The 2-1, that's high. 3 balls and a strike, and Wilson in danger of walking home a run here in the bottom of the first. And so very similar to how last night started, a 1-2-3 top of the first inning for Preston Allen. The Tom Sox threatening to score here in the bottom half, and they do as the 3-1 misses high. Ball 4, it's a bases loaded walk, and R.J. Ochoa picks up an RBI. As Pierce Bennett comes in and touches home plate. With a run in and the bases loaded, still 2 outs for Garrett Spikes. He's in right field tonight out of the University of Georgia.
Spikes has 22 RBIs on the season, so let's see if he can do it right here.
He's got ducks on the pond, and the first pitch is swung on, hit on the ground to first base. Figuereto fields it on 3 hops and takes it to the bag himself to retire the side. So the Tom Sox score 1, but leave the bases loaded. And as we go to the top of the second, it's 1-0 Tom Sox here in Game 1 of the first round of the Valley Baseball League playoffs. Top of the second inning here, Game 1 of the Valley League playoffs, the first round best-of-3 series between the Charlottesville Tom Sox and the Waynesboro Generals. Tom Sox lead 1-0 after a bases-loaded walk to R.J. Ochoa in the bottom half of the first, and it'll be Rubalcaba, Pimento, and Aruz.
We just had the Tom Sox mascot Louie dancing on the field, and the first base umpire decided to join him.
Got a couple umpires in the spirit. 3 umpires for the game tonight. And the first pitch from Yanak in the top of the second is a breaking ball that misses up and in. 1 ball and no strikes for the game today. Tom Sox longtime fan Marvin Key throughout the first pitch too. So 1-0 misses low, 2-0, and he's a staple here at Crutchfield Park. A great guy, sits right below the press box, and every time there's a pinch hitter or a new pitcher, he always makes sure to motion up to us and let us know what number is trotting out on the field as the 2-0 is outside 3-0. So holds a special place here with the Tom Sox media team, and awesome to see him get to throw out the first pitch today. The 3-0 to Rubalcaba is inside, ball 4 and a 4-pitch walk. Here's how the top of the second starts.
And speaking of Marvin, it looks like one of our media interns, Kelly Warner, is interviewing him right now because I don't think him and his wife have missed a game all season.
No, they are staples here at Crutchfield Park, and it's awesome to see. And they get into Crutchfield Park just like everybody else can, completely free all season and all playoffs thanks to Carter Bank and Trust. So with nobody out and a runner on first base, it's Brandon Pimento, and he takes a first pitch strike from Dylan Yanak. No balls and 1 strike to Pimento, who is in left field today. That's where he was last night, where he went 1 for 3. Out of Mississippi State, national champion, bats from the left side of the plate. And the 0-1 is tap foul right at the plate. And he's down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. He's played in 11 games so far. He's hitting .273 with a home run, triple. In 14 games at Mississippi State, hit .286. But he's down to Yannick, no balls and 2 strikes. Here it is. This is hit slowly to first. Langford's only play is going to be to take it to the bag himself. He does. Rubalcaba advances to second. So it works almost as a sac bunt. It's a 3 unassisted. There's a runner on second, 1 out for Alex Aruz. Elsewhere around the Valley League tonight, there is Southern Division playoff action. Stanton Braves and Harrisonburg Turks set to do battle as they begin their best of 3 tonight. The North playoffs start tomorrow as the first pitch to Aruz is on the outside corner. A good fastball there, 0-1.
Yes, we'll definitely be giving updates on the other game going on.
That game set to get underway at 7:30 as the lights begin to kick on here at Crutchfield Park. It's no balls and a strike, and the 0-1 is low and in, 1-1 on Alex Aruz, who is at third base tonight. Last night for the Generals, Aruz was 0 for 2. He was subbed out in the 6th inning. Joey Rezick took over behind the plate. Righty on righty matchup, and he swings through the 1-1. Good fastball from Yannick. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Double header today between Winchester and Percival, but those 2 games do not affect the standings at all. The North bracket is set. A 1-2 in the dirt, blocked nicely by Ochoa. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and it holds Rubalcaba at second. In the North, Strasburg, the #1 overall seed, will be playing Newmarket, who's the 4 seed, and Winchester and Woodstock is a 2-3 matchup. Woodstock has home field advantage there. It's a 2-2. This is just outside. The count's full 3-2. Woodstock finished oh so close to that top spot. Missed it by a half game. So if they were to see Strasburg in the second round, they would not have home field advantage. But here's the payoff pitch. And strike 3 call, ring him up. Ochoa drops the ball and now places the tag on Aruz. Aruz does not like the call whatsoever, but there's 2 outs now in the top half of the 2nd inning for Joey Rezick with a runner on second.
Yeah, I was going to say he is not happy with that call. He walked back very slow back to the Generals dugout.
Yeah, just getting to the dugout now, and Joey Rezick digs in as he tries to tie this game up. It's 1-0 Tom Sox, top of the 2nd inning. Rezick, left-handed batter, first pitch, inside, 1-0. Rezick last night came in the 6th inning for Aruz behind the plate. He went 1 for 1 with a walk. Caught Jack Hurley stealing. The 1-0 fouled back into the fence behind home plate. It's 1-1.
Speaking of Jack Hurley, he had 2 amazing throws from right field last night to throw out 2 runners from third base.
Yeah, certainly highlight reel throws. He was showing off the cannon a little bit out there and right. Not in today's starting lineup, but wouldn't be surprised if we see his speed at some point today or in the series. It's a ball and a strike now on Rezick, who taps this one foul behind home plate and is down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just a reminder, fans, bats and balls leaving the playing field can be dangerous. For your safety, please remain alert at all times. Thank you.
Rezick is at .247 on the season, 1 home run, 11 RBIs. He's struck out 16 times in 77 at-bats, and Yannick misses low with the 1-2. And it's 2-2. Still a runner on second. That's Rubalcaba. He walked to lead off the inning. Tom Sox lead 1-0, top of the second. Yanak checks Rubalcaba. Now comes home, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. And the inning is over. Yanak strikes out 2 in the top of the second. And as we head to the bottom half of the second, it's a 1-0 Tom Sox lead. It'll be Cole Foster, Eddie Iser, and then back to the top, Pierce Bennett for the Tom Sox, who have a 1-0 lead here, bottom half of the second inning, game 1 of a best-of-3 series against Waynesboro. Tomorrow's game will be played in Waynesboro, and game 3, if necessary, right back here at Crutchfield Park.
Foster currently has a hit streak of 4 games.
And he takes a first pitch from Bradley Wilson outside, 1-0. Foster, an all-star this year for the Tom Sox. The 1-0, taps slowly to second base. Prater charging, Fields throws on the run, and it's in plenty of time to get Foster for the first out of the inning.
Batting for your Tom Sox, the second baseman
So,
of NC State,
with 1 out
Eddie Iser.
and nobody on base here in the bottom of the second, Eddie Iser, who Tom Sox PA announcer endearingly calls Steady Eddie Iser, digs in, the 9-hole batter at second base today for Coach Kohler's squad. The windup and the first pitch to the lefty misses outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
Iser currently has an on-base streak of 2 games along with a hitting streak of 2 games.
And he swings and lines this one softly up the middle, fielded on a backhand by Prater, and a jump throw to second base in time to get Iser. To highlight reel play there by Will Prater behind the second base bag to nab Iser. And there's 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the second. Pierce Bennett back up the top of the Tom Sox lineup. Singled and came around to score last inning. That's how we got to this 1-0 Tom Sox lead in the bottom of the second. And the first pitch is a breaking ball, and it misses up a little bit, 1-0.
Looks like the wind is kicking back in again.
Wilson rocks and deals. The 1-0 is chopped to third, fielded on 1 hop by Aruz. Long throw across is a bit high, but Figueredo leaps and comes back down with it in time. And the Tom Sox go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. As we head to the third, it's still 1-0 Tom Sox. Maxweller's going to get things going here. Top half of the third inning. Yannick back out there for his third inning of work. Still 1-0 Tom Sox here, first round of the Valley Baseball League playoffs. The first pitch is lined right at Isert at second base, who doesn't even have to move to secure that one. One pitch, one out for Yannick here in the top of the third. The wonderful promotions team here at Crutchfield Park put together a new mid-inning activity last inning called the Sneaker Scramble.
Yes, we had 10 kids run from first base to second without shoes on. Whoever got their shoes at second base and got back to first won.
First pitch to Stephen Wilmer is up and away, 1 ball and no strikes. And there was chatter in the press box that their parents cannot be too happy with that. And the 1-0 hits Wilmer, and so he'll take his base. Runner on first, 1 out, and I know personally my mom would also not have been too thrilled if I came home with my socks filled with baseball dirt.
And some of them were barefoot. I saw the first kid that got first place put on Crocs.
Whatever floats your boat. So 1 out and a man on first for Michael Robinson. Back to the top of the Generals order. And the first pitch to him is in there, no balls and a strike. Robinson grounded out to second to start these playoffs. Yannick set at the belt. Kicks and deals the 0-1, and it's popped up, fouling out of play first base side. Way up in the count now is Yannick. No balls and 2 strikes.
And it looks like Wilmer on base is leading off a bit on first there.
See if they decide to put him in motion. Here, no balls and 2 strikes to Robinson. And the pitch right there, strike 3 called. Robinson knew it, and he heads back to the dugout, disappointed. 2 outs now, top of the third inning for Will Prater with a man on first.
Yeah, he just walked back and looks like he had some words with the home plate umpire. Not happy with that call.
So Wilmer leads off first base with 2 down. Will Prater now, and the first pitch to him misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Prater bounced out to Cole Foster at shortstop his first time up. Long look now, Yannick's 1-0 is a curveball that breaks in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mentioned Prater last night. Snapped that hitting streak in an 0-for-5 game. He's 0-for-1 so far today. Yannick. Long look again, and Prater this time calls time and steps out, adjusts his batting gloves, now digs back in. The lefty rocking the tall blue socks. Yannick's 1-1. It's hit on the ground to second. Isert scoops that one up, throws on to Langford at first to retire the side. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and they leave a man. We're going to the bottom of the third. It's still 1-0 Tom Sox. Home half of the third inning here. It's Amos Castillo and Cesiri due up for the Tom Sox, who hold a 1-0 lead over the Waynesboro Generals. Game 1 of round 1 of the Valley League playoffs. Wilson's first pitch, Amos squares to bunt, pulls it back, and it misses outside, 1-0. That game in Stanton just getting underway. Top of the first, it's scoreless. The 1-0. Fastball in there, 1-1. Looks like Colby Gromlich going for Stanton, and Andres Rodriguez is on the bump for Harrisonburg at Gypsy Hill Park. Amos singled his first time up and was stranded at third base. He fouls this one back and is behind in the count, 1-2.
And it looks like Logan Amos in our game notes here, thanks to the amazing David Argo, has his own section that says he don't Amos.
It's true. A guy that really doesn't strike out a whole heck of a lot either. There's a 1-2, misses high. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Amos at 301, and he's only struck out 14 times in 83 trips to the plate. And he hits this one on the ground too short. A backhanded play there by Robinson. Long throw across. Pulls Figueredo off the bag, but he gets the tag on Amos in time. A nice play on both ends of that one for the first out of the inning.
Batting for your Tom Sox, the left fielder, number 5, Victor Castillo.
So 1 out, base is empty for Victor Castillo, who struck out in his first time up. It's 1-0 Tom Sox, bottom of the third inning. Wilson, first pitch, misses low, 1-0. Pierce Bennett led off the game with a single for the Tom Sox. He came around to score after they loaded the bases, and Ochoa drew a walk in the first, and the 1-0 floats in there. Evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Wilson working quickly, ready with the 1-1, and this one's flared out into left center field. Pimento coming on, out into left center field, puts this one away for the second out of the inning. So quickly 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom half of the third inning, and it's 6 in a row now that have been set down by Wilson after a shaky start to the game, and Adam Cesiri comes up 0 for 1 today, struck out in the first. First pitch to him, got him waving at that one in the dirt, and it's 0-1.
We've been seeing Cesiri come up with 2 outs on the board, but I really do think he's due for a hit here, and he's hungry for one.
0-1. Misses downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Cesiri, you mentioned he's been one of the Tom Sox best hitters of late, and really all season since he's gotten here. He's at 361. The 1-1 is fouled over the press box behind home plate. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hit 4 home runs. Drove in 19 runs during the regular season. He did strike out 17 times, though, in 61 at-bats, but a 361 average. When he hits the ball, he hits it hard. He's been finding gaps. He's down in the count 1-2 now, though, and he holds up on a breaking ball that was blocked by Rubalcaba, who it got him somewhere where he's in some serious pain. And home plate umpire Fred Shaner is going to walk the ball out to Bradley Wilson on the mound. Other umpires today down the first base line, it's Michael Mackey, and down the third base line, Greg Howard.
And it looks like one of the Generals' coaches actually came out to talk to him.
Trying to shake this one off. And if it got him where I think it might have got him, it's not pleasant. So trying to work this one out as Cesiri takes some warm-up swings. They give Rubalcaba some water, and he's all good now as he puts the helmet back on, rocks the 2-piece mask with the backwards base coach helmet and the catcher's mask.
Looks like the fans here at Crutchfield are clapping for him in his return, too.
He's got the blue gear, the University of Kentucky catcher's helmet. And Cesiri digs back in, back of the box now, and we are almost set to go as Bradley Wilson retoes the rubber. Angles himself towards the third base side, works off the far first base side of the rubber, and comes home with the 2-2, and it just misses. Almost rang him up with a fastball on the low outside corner, but it's called the ball, and the count's full 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's popped up, fouling out of play, third base side. We'll try it again, 3-2.
That foul ball was sponsored by the Newhouse
Wyatt
Company.
Langford waits on deck if Cesiri were to reach. 1-0 Tom Sox, bottom half of the third inning. Cesiri taps the plate. Wilson has his sign. Winds and deals the payoff pitch. Ring him up, strike 3 called. Cesiri knew it, and Rubalcaba rolls the ball back out to the mound. Another 1-2-3 inning for Bradley Wilson, and we're through 3 complete here at Crutchfield Park. It's still 1-0 Tom Sox. It's still 1-0 Tom Sox here as we get set to go in the top of the fourth.
34,
Alejandro Figuereto will get things going for the Waynesboro Generals. It'll then be Alonso Rubalcaba and Brandon Pimento. 3, 4, and 5 in this Waynesboro order, as it's all-star on all-star in the first pitch. Inside corner, good fastball from Yanak. No balls and 1 strike.
Now, I'm not certain on this with the Tom Sox, but it looks like this might be his last inning pitching as we're hitting the top of the fourth.
The 0-1 is waved at and missed. Really good breaking ball there. Had Figueredo way out in front of it. There is currently no one loosening in the pen, but you know the Tom Sox really don't let their pitchers go too long. So we'll see if that philosophy changes come playoff time. Yanak cruising so far as his 0-2 is hit on the ground to short. Foster's there, bobbles, snares it out of midair with his bare hand and throws over to Langford at first base in time for the first out. Some fancy glove work there by Foster.
And going back to the Harrisonburg and Stanton game, it's still 0-0 after the first inning, so keeping an eye on the action here.
Certainly scoreboard watching at this time of year is important, but both these teams still have business to take care of if they want that scoreboard to mean anything. With 1 out and the base is empty, it's Alonso Rubalcaba. Drew a walk in his first trip to the plate. And the first pitch, fastball inside corner, 0-1. Rubalcaba is out of Kentucky. He was the designated hitter yesterday. The 0-1, waved at and missed. Yanak's got him looking silly with the bat out there. He was way out in front of that one. It's 0-2.
Yeah, while I was at the All-Star game, I got to see Yanak pitch there, and he did a great job. They each got to pitch 1 inning and didn't let any runs come in.
He winds, and his 0-2 pitch is in the dirt outside, blocked by Ochoa. No offer from Rubalcaba, and it's 1-2. Mentioned Rubalcaba was the DH yesterday. He had a 2 RBI double in the 9th inning, and he was one of the victims of Jack Hurley at home plate, like you mentioned earlier. Finished the day 2 for 5. The 1-2 flared out to right field, hooking foul, and it's going to get down in the Tom Sox bullpen and hold the count 1-2.
And it looks like more fans are showing up to Crutchfield as we get later on in this game. Looks like more people are heading up on the hill and walking down on the side.
All of them here for free. Thanks to Carter Bank and Trust all season long. Another 1-2. This one rolled softly foul over towards the first base coach. It's still 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alonzo Rubalcaba. Played 9 games in the regular season. He hit .344 in 32 at-bats. Also 2 home runs, triple, 8 RBIs. The 1-2 to him. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Great looking curveball there from Yanak. Had Rubalcaba flailing at it. And there's 2 outs here in the top of the 4th as Yanak continues to roll.
And Yanak was really happy with that strikeout. Looks like he did a little circle around the mound.
Nobody on, 2 outs. 1-0 ball game. Top of the 4th for Brandon Pimento. Bounced out to Langford at first base, his first time up. Not a ton of hard hit balls through the first 3 2/3 for the Waynesboro Generals. And Yanak's first pitch to Pimento is at the knees, 0-1. Pimento has a couple of his collegiate teammates on the Tom Sox in Braylon Skinner and Parker Stinnett. The 0-1 to him. Outside corner, really good location with that fastball painted to black. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Tom Sox actually decide to keep him in if they're not having anyone else getting loose right now.
The 0-2 misses low and away, 1-2. And with the way he's throwing, I mean, we have seen Yanak go 5 innings a couple of times this season. Tall, imposing righty. Winds and deals the 1-2, and it misses outside. The count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Peers in at Ochoa, who flashes the signs. He has the one he likes and comes home with the 2-2, and it's bounced up the middle. Foster behind the bag at second field. Spins, throws onto Langford at first, who stretches and picks it out of the dirt, keeps his foot on the bag, and records the out. Marvelous play on both ends of that one to end the top of the 4th. They go down 1-2-3 in the top of the 4th, and as we head to the bottom of the 4th, it's still 1-0 Tom Sox. After making a stellar pick on the back end of a marvelous Cole Foster play to end the top of the 4th, Wyatt Langford is set to get us going in the bottom of the 4th. It'll be 5-6-7 for the Tom Sox against Bradley Wilson, who's back out there for his 4th inning of work. Langford first pitch swinging, taps this one foul over towards the Generals dugout on the third base side. No balls and a strike.
Yeah, what a spin move and grab by Cole Foster. He ran all the way past second there in the dirt still.
0-1, breaking ball, misses maybe upstairs. Evens the count 1-1. Yeah, going back to that play, it was really good play. Foster had to range real far up the middle, snared it behind the bag. 1-1's in the dirt, 2-1. Spun and threw all in one motion, and Credit to Wyatt Langford to keep his foot on the bag while making a backhanded pick. He fell on his backside after he made the scoop as the 2-1 is outside 3-1. And Langford walked his first time up, is ahead in the count 3-1. Ochoa on deck. Spikes will follow him. The windup in the 3-1 at the bottom of the zone. And the count runs full on Wyatt Langford. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Langford's also one of the Tom Sox who have the highest home runs this season with 3.
The payoff pitch, and this one's lined hard to center field. Weller over a few steps to his left puts it away, and Langford might have hit that ball a little too hard as it hangs up for Max Weller, and the first out of the bottom of the 4th. I'll bring up RJ Ochoa. No official at-bats to his name so far today, but does have an RBI as he walked in a run in the first inning. Tom Sox left the bases loaded that inning and have yet to get a base runner since then. It's 8 in a row now set down by Bradley Wilson. His first pitch to Ochoa's line to right field. Wilmer over towards the line a few steps, puts this one away, no problem. And very quickly here in the bottom of the 4th, there are 2 outs.
And it looks like in the Harrisonburg-Stanton game, the Stanton Braves have taken the lead 3-0.
Interesting development out in Stanton.
Out in Stanton, definitely a change since we last checked 5 minutes ago with 3 runs.
First pitch to Garrett Spikes is in there, no balls and a strike, and looks like Luke Traynor hit a 3-run home run.
That'll do it.
0-1 up and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Garrett Spikes. Grounded out to first to end the first inning, and it left the bases loaded. 1-1 is outside 2-1. Shortstop Michael Robinson shading slightly up the middle. He's been shaded up the middle a little bit all game. Leaves a big hole on the left side for the lefty Spikes, who hits this one to the right side. Sliding backhanded play by Prater at second, who pops to his feet and throws on to Figuereto at first in time to get Spikes and retire the side. 1-2-3 for the 3rd inning in a row. And as we go to the 5th inning already, it's the Tom Sox 1 and the Generals nothing. Back out there for the 5th inning is Dylan Yanak, who has spun 4 marvelous innings so far for the Charlottesville Tom Sox, who lead it 1-0 here as Alex Aruz gets things going in the top of the 5th. And the first pitch to him is bounced on the ground down the third baseline, foul, 0-1. Aruz, a strikeout victim his first time up. He went down looking back in the second.
Yeah, there's no point of pulling him yet if he's doing this well on the mound.
The 0-1 runs in and hits him right on the shoulder. And Aruz will painfully take his base, but it's a leadoff base runner for the Waynesboro Generals, something that they had in the second inning when Alonso Rubalcaba walked, but they stranded him at second.
And it looks like that hit him really hard on his left shoulder there, but he's shaking it off. It's the first base umpire went up to him and make sure he was okay.
It's the second batter that Yanak has hit so far today. He's got a runner on first, nobody out for Joey Rezick, who squares to bunt, and he pops this one up. Bennett fields it on one hop, looks at second, opts to go to first, throws it high. Wyatt Langford comes down with it, applies the tag, not in time, and the ball pops out of his glove. Both runners advance, and all of a sudden, instead of what was trying to be a sacrifice bunt, it turns into an E5, and there's runners on second and third, nobody out now. A very costly mistake by Pierce Bennett, who kind of just lackadaisically lobbed the ball over to first base. And instead of making a strong, hard throw and then getting a sure out, second and third, nobody out for Max Weller.
Yeah, Bennett is not happy with that throw. He's, picked up a little bit of dirt, went back into his glove, but hopefully he can shake that off.
First pitch to Weller is fouled straight back into the fence. No balls and a strike. So Yanak, we mentioned, already hit 2 batters today. He'd hit 3 during the regular season. Max Weller down in the count, no balls and a strike. Tom Sox still lead 1-0, but in danger here. Second and third, nobody out. And a swing and a miss, it's 0-2. Top half of the 5th inning, Yanak trying to work out of trouble is now. There is some action down in the Tom Sox bullpen. A righty and a lefty up and throwing. Max Weller lined out to Eddie Eisert at second base his first time up. The 0-2. It's low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's finally a cool night here at Crutchfield Park. It's not melting hot like it usually is. Feels really nice for the players, for sure.
Yanak is in some heat right now, though, as the 1-2 is lined into left field, a base hit. 1 run will score. Holding up at third base is Joey Rezick, and we're all tied back up as Yanak serves up his first hit of the ball game, and it's 1-1 here in the top of the 5th. Alex Aruz comes home to score as Max Weller drives him in with an RBI single. And with 1 swing of the bat, the Generals break the hit column and the run column. So Stephen Wilmer up to bat. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Infield is at double play depth. Pierce Bennett on the grass at third. The first pitch to the lefty, Wilmer, outside corner, strike 1. So it looks like Parker Stinnett and Andrew Ward are both up and throwing down in the Tom Sox bullpen. Wilmer hit by a pitch his first time up. The 0-1, outside edge, no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, prior to this game, Yanak only had 3 hit by pitches to other batters, so adding 2 on there tonight.
Yanak set at the belt, ready to come home with pitch number 65 here. The 0-2 is lined hard into center field. That one's going to get down in front of Logan Amos, and back-to-back hits give the Waynesboro Generals a 2-1 lead here in the top of the 5th inning.
Still no outs on the board either. Wondering to see if they're going to change out Yanak before that, or...
John Maley will come out and have a chat with Yanak, and it looks like the entire infield's going to come discuss this one. Well, at least Cole Foster is, as is R.J. Ochoa.
This looks like they're all still talking together, but he's going to stay on the mound.
Just looks like some casual throwing down there, and I mean, this just feels a lot like last night's game where Yanak was cruising. Last night we had Preston Allen cruising 10 up, 10 down. Yanak No hits through the first 4 innings. Tom Sox score 1 in the bottom of the first, and the bats kind of go quiet. So nobody out, first and second, 2 runs already in, and Michael Robinson now takes a first pitch low, checks his swing. Or no, he went around, rather. No balls and a strike.
I mean, like you said, we have no hits in 4 innings. You can't win games if you can't hit the ball, so.
Langford in on the grass expecting bunt. Robinson takes the 0-1 outside. No, he did check his swing on that first pitch, so it is 2 balls and no strikes as the home plate umpire Fred Shaner signals. Robinson 0 for 2 so far today. The 2-0. Outside corner, 2 balls and a strike.
Looks like we have some Generals fans who traveled to Charlottesville tonight as fans are screaming, "Let's go, 1-3, up to bat."
Not a long trek to Waynesboro, something that the Tom Sox will do tomorrow. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch lined into left field, another base hit. Rounding third, coming to the plate, the throw from left field offline, and 3 consecutive singles make it a 3-1 ball game. Waynesboro leads here in the top of the 5th. Max Weller comes home to score, and there's still nobody out with runners on first and second here as the action down in the bullpen for Parker Stinnett is intensifying. So Yannick trying to escape this inning with minimized damage. Will Prater up to bat now. Corners in, middle infield at double play depth. Prater lays down a bunt third base side. Yannick off the mound to field it. Throws on to first in time, but the runners both move up a base. So now it'll be runners on second and third with 1 out for Alejandro Figuereto.
That was a good reaction by Yannick to get to the ball right away and throw it to first, but it's a little bit high. Good thing Wyatt Langford put his glove up just in time.
So 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position, 3 runs already in for the Generals in the top of the 5th inning. And if you're the Generals, you're feeling pretty good because right now Bradley Wilson on the other end has set down 10 straight Tom Sox. First pitch to Figueredo is inside 1-0. 0 for 2 so far today. Flew out to left his first time up, bounced out to Cole Foster at short. Last inning. Big opportunity. The 1-0. Good slider there, finds the zone. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
The Stanton-Harrisonburg game is still 3-0 Stanton. Now keep in mind it's only the 2nd inning, but that game started at 7:30 instead of 7.
Yannick peers in. Now has his sign from Ochoa, comes set at the belt. Home with the 1-1 now, and it squeaks away from Ochoa, but not advancing from third base is Wilmer as it didn't get far enough away. Counts 2 balls and 1 strike now. Figueredo has arguably been the best hitter all season for this Waynesboro Generals team, who have scored 3 runs. The offense has come to life. They were getting no hit coming into this 5th inning by Yannick. 3 straight singles, 3 runs. Here's the 2-1. Good fastball on the outside corner, and then it evens the count at 2-2.
It looks like Wilmer, again, who was leading off first by a bit earlier, was leading off a bit on third when Yannick started winding up.
Time being called as a ball from the bullpen rolls out to behind home plate. Mentioned Parker Stinnett getting ready quickly now down there, as Yannick still not out of the woods. Waynesboro, we mentioned they won last night's game, and had Harrisonburg beaten Stanton, it would be the Tom Sox playing the Stanton Braves right now. And the 2-2 to Figueredo is fouled off, first base side out of play, and the count holds 2-2. But instead, Stanton exploded for 7 runs late in the game and beat Harrisonburg, claimed the number 2 seed, Mentioned they lead Harrisonburg right now. And that's just how open this division was. Stanton could have been 4. Instead, they're 2. And here's Waynesboro at 4, leading the number 1 seed Tom Sox 3-1 in the top of the 5th as Figuereto takes the 2-2 breaking ball low, and it runs the count full 3-2.
And I feel like out of all teams this season with the Tom Sox who they have played, I feel like they've been really up and down with Waynesboro and Stanton. So just a coincidence, it just happens to be these two teams and the playoffs we're looking at.
Here's Yanok's payoff pitch. It's on the outside corner, strike 3 called, and a massive strikeout for Dylan Yanok of Alejandro Figueredo. There's 2 outs now in the top of the 5th. Runners still on second and third, so not completely out of danger yet. But now any out ends the inning as Alonzo Rubalcaba comes up to bat now. 2 big runs standing on second and third in the form of Stephen Wilmer on third and Michael Robinson on second. Rubalcaba 0 for 1, walked in the second and struck out in the fourth. Yanok takes a deep breath. Now the first pitch. It misses low, 1-0.
Rubalcaba is a senior out of Kentucky University.
He bats from the right side as Yanok laboring this inning. His pace is significantly slowed down here in the 5th. The 1-0. Breaking ball had Rubalcaba fooled, but missed just off the inside edge, and it's 2-0. Yanok now up to 78 pitches on the day. He's down in the count to Alonzo Rubalcaba, 2 balls, no strikes. He kicks and deals the 2-0, and it's lifted in the air, shallow right center field, spikes over and in a few steps, puts it away, and ends the inning and ends the bleeding. But before the inning ends, the Waynesboro Generals plate 3 runs and take a 3-1 lead as we are halfway through this game 1 of the first round of the Valley League playoffs.
All right, fans.
The Tom Sox will look to answer a sucker punch from the Waynesboro Generals here in the bottom of the 5th. Waynesboro plated 3 in the top half of the inning, and they lead at 3-1 as Cole Foster digs in, the switch hitter batting left against Bradley Wilson, who set down 10 straight Tom Sox. And the first pitch to Foster is just above the letters 1-0.
Foster is currently tied with Cam Guidry for the longest hit streak on the team.
He He grounds this one to second base. Prater running to his left fields and flips on to Figueredo at first. And quickly one out here in the home half of the fifth.
Baseman number 24, Eddie Eisert.
And that'll bring up Eddie Eisert, 0 for 1 on the night. Bounced out to Prater at second. His first time up in the second inning. Pierce Bennett also due up for the Tom Sox this inning. And the first pitch to Eisert, up and away, 1-0.
Eisert also has some good stats right now with 2 hitting streaks in games.
He's heading the count 2-0 now as the 1-0 missed in the same spot. Wilson winds deals and the 2-0 hits the zone 2-1.
One of our lovely media interns, Brendan Farrell, got to talk to Eddie before the game, just catch up about life.
2-1 just off the outside edge, and Eddie's up in the count 3-1. Only 2 doubles on the season for him, but they've both come in the last 2 games against Waynesboro. A 3-1 is hit to the left side on the ground where Aruz Fields throws onto first base, and a long stretch by Figueredo keeps his toe on the bag and retires Eisert 5-3 for the second out of the bottom of the fifth.
The third baseman number 18, Pierce Bennett.
That was a long stretch. I wasn't even sure if his back foot was actually on the base, but got the out there.
As Pierce Bennett steps up with nobody on and 2 outs. Bradley Wilson working on 12 straight Tom Sox put away. Has really found a groove since that rough first inning. And the first pitch to Bennett, look out, up and in. He has to duck out of the way. A little bit of chin music there, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, if Bennett just didn't, duck out of the way, I feel like that would have hit him square on the left of his face.
Bennett does wear the protective guard over the left side of his face, attachment to his helmet, and the 1-0 breaking ball buckles the knees of Pierce Bennett and falls into the zone 1-1. He's 1 for 2 today. 1-1 is over Bennett's head again. That one a breaking ball that slipped out of the hands of Wilson. 2-1. Bennett singled to lead off the game. Amos promptly followed him with another single. And then 2 straight walks plated Pierce Bennett for the first run of the game way back in the bottom of the first. 2-1 is flown out to right field. Wilmer in about 4 or 5 steps. It's a can of corn for him, and the side is retired 1-2-3 for the 4th inning in a row. And as we head to the top of the 6th, Waynesboro still leads it 3-1. Rain begins to come down here at Crutchfield Park in the top half of the 6th inning as Parker Stinnett toes the rubber, signaling the end of the night for Dylan Yannock. So, Brooke, what can you tell us about new pitcher for the Tom Sox, Parker Stinnett?
Well, Stinnett is actually from the national champion team, Mississippi State. He joins other Tom Sox teammate Braylon Skinner, but he also actually got to pitch in the College World Series against UVA and Texas.
And so far this season for the Tom Sox, he's got 8 strikeouts in 4 innings to the tune of a 0 ERA. He's also notched a save. So Brandon Pimento leads off, and the first pitch to him is grounded to short. Foster fields, long throw across is in time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Parker Stinnett as he gets his college teammate Brandon Pimento to ground out on the first pitch.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, the rain is starting here at Crutchfield Park. Hopefully it's just a light drizzle and we can keep on playing. Doesn't look too serious to me. Doesn't look too dark in the clouds over there.
Alex Araz now, who got things going last inning for Waynesboro, takes the first pitch fastball low and away, 1-0. Araz 0 for 1 so far today, struck out looking in the second and was hit by a pitch and scored in the 5th. Mentioned he led off that rally last inning. A 1-0. Misses low. 2 balls and no strikes now.
Now, it's really interesting you mentioned that Stinnett, when he pitched against Texas in the College World Series, Mississippi State actually lost that game.
Yes, he did pitch in the loss to Texas, 2-0. Misses outside, 3 balls and no strikes, and he didn't pitch particularly well, didn't record an out, gave up a hit, 2 earned runs, and walked 2. Did pitch against UVA, though, as well, and he pitched pretty well as a 3-0. Taking all the way, and it's nowhere close, ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk to Alex Araz. Puts a runner on first base with 1 out here in the top of the 6th for the Generals, who hold a 3-1 lead over the Tom Sox.
It looks like the light rain isn't keeping all the fans away. We have a big pavilion out in left field up on the hill, and looks like a lot of fans just conjugated under there.
Some umbrellas sprouting up through the crowd at Crutchfield Park, as well as Joey Rezick steps into the left-handed batter's box with a runner on first, 1 out. Stinnett deals first pitch, and it bounces up there and gets away from Ochoa, and it gets away far enough for Araz to advance to second base on a wild pitch.
Not only is this a lot of pressure for Stinnett, but this is also the scoreless 6th inning, the Tom Sox like to call it.
Trying to have the scoreless 6th ride, as they say. So a runner on second now, 1 out after the wild pitch. Stinnett checks him, now comes home. The 1-0 finds the outside edge. 1 ball and 1 strike on Joey Rezick, who is 0 for 2. He reached on that Pierce Bennett error last inning when he was trying to just lay down a sacrifice bunt. Bennett threw a ball softly over to Langford at first base, threw it high, and Langford could not come down with it. Rezick then came around to score, and Max Weller, who's waiting on deck, also scored. That's the 3 runs for the Generals, who hold a 3-1 lead, top of the 6th. Stinnett now has his sign, comes set at the letters, and comes home with the 1-1, and it bounces up there, but this one blocked wonderfully by Ochoa.
And speaking of scoreless innings, Stinnett's one of his season highs is his debut at Newmarket, where he struck out 4 batters in 2 scoreless innings.
He also threw 2 innings against Harrisonburg his last time out on the 16th of July. He's got a runner in scoring position now, though, as Joey Rezick's up with 1 out. He's behind to Rezick, 2 balls and a strike. And here's the pitch. And he paints the outside corner with a fastball, 2-2. Ochoa flashing the signs to Stinnett. They're in agreement now as Stinnett comes set. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And it's fouled right back into the screen. The count's going to hold 2 balls and 2 strikes. Max Weller waits on deck. He drove in a run and broke up Yannock's no-hitter. By the way, Yannock, his final line, he goes 5 innings. Gives up 3 runs, all of them earned. Surrendered 4 hits, walked 1, and struck out 5. Got through the first 4 without giving up a hit, and the wheels kind of fell off in the 5th. And the 2-2 looped foul behind the press box. A good battle brewing here between Parker Stinnett and Joey Rezick.
Going back to the Harrisonburg game, it looks like they're catching up with speed at the top of the 4th inning, but Stanton still holds the lead 3-0.
No action in either bullpen right now as Stinnett comes home with the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball got him swinging in the dirt. Ochoa has to throw down to first. He does in time and freezes Araz at second base. So a good pitch by Parker Stinnett to win the battle between Joey Rezick for the second out of the inning. And now with a runner on second and 2 outs, it'll be Max Weller. Weller 1 for 2 today. Mentioned he singled back in that 5th inning, drove in the first run of the game for the Generals. He also came around to score. Bats from the right side of the plate with a man on second, 2 dead.
Weller is currently a sophomore out of Arizona Western University.
And he swings at the first pitch and fouls it back into the fence. No balls and a strike. Weller was pinch hit. He pinch hit last night for Levinson in the 9th inning. He's 0 for 1. Finished the regular season tied for 9th in the Valley League in at-bats with 126. The 0-1 to him, cut on and missed, blew a fastball right on by him, and it's 0-2. He actually finished just 1 at-bat shy of Cole Foster, who's tied for 7th with 127. Stinnett, ready now. The 0-2. Tries to check his swing, and he does, says first base umpire Michael Mackey. A really good slider there from Parker Stinnett. Almost got him to chase one out of the zone, but a good hold by Max Weller. Runs the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And it sounds like the fans are still rattled up here. They started clapping and to the beat.
It's 3-1, top of the 6th. Man on second, 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch is grounded foul down the first base line. We'll try it again, 1-2. Stephen Wilmer stands on deck if the inning continues. With the quiet bullpen down the left field line, it would indicate that Bradley Wilson's probably going to go back out there for the bottom of the 6th, and rightfully so. He's been absolutely dealing. Stinnett trying to work out of a little bit of trouble here. He comes home, the 1-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Ends the inning with back-to-back strikeouts and strands a runner on second. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, it's 3-1 here. The Generals lead.
off for your Tom Sox center fielder number 27.
3-1 Waynesboro leads here as we're back for the bottom of the 6th inning at Crutchfield Park. Logan Amos steps in to lead things off. Bradley Wilson back out there. Amos first pitch swinging, chops one to third, one hop, long throw across by Arouse in time. One pitch, one out here in the bottom half of the 6th.
Yeah, and coincidentally, we have the same score in Stanton right now, with the Stanton Braves still leading 3, but the Harrisonburg Turks just scored a 1, so 3-1 in Stanton right now.
That game in the top of the 5th inning. We're here bottom of the 6th. Game 1 of a best-of-3 series between the Generals and the Tom Sox. And the first pitch to Victor Castillo is on the outside corner, 0-1. Castillo 0 for 2. Tries to check his swing. They appeal. Did he go? Yes, says third base umpire Greg Howard. And that's one of the nice things about having a third base umpire is you can appeal left-handed swings. 0-2 to Castillo, and the pitch misses high. 1-2. Tried to get him to chase a fastball out of the zone. Bradley Wilson working very quickly. He winds and deals the 1-2. Tries to check his swing. Did he go? Yes, says Greg Howard down the third baseline, and Castillo strikes out. And there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
That's the one thing about playoff season. We now have 3 umpires on the field, so it's either going to hurt or hurt people.
So 2 outs and the base is empty for Adam Cesiri. It's Bradley Wilson trying to work his 5th 1-2-3 inning in a row, and Cesiri's the only thing that stands in the way. It's 3-1 Generals lead, bottom of the 6th. First pitch lined up the middle, diving backhanded play at second by Prater, gets to his feet, throws across in time. Another highlight play by this Generals middle infield puts a cap on this 6th inning. 1-2-3 go the Tom Sox again. That's 5 innings in a row that Bradley Wilson has set him down 1-2-3. And as we go to the 7th, it's still 3-1. Waynesboro leads. Top of the 7th, 3-1 Generals lead here at Crutchfield Park. And a reminder that Tom Sox Baseball is brought to you by Crutchfield, audio, video, and more since 1974. The official sponsor of Crutchfield Park at Charlottesville High School. And if there is another home game here, you can get in completely free of charge. Parking, admission free to all Tom Sox home games all season, regular and post, thanks to Carter Bank and Trust. But right now, the Generals lead it 3-1. In this Game 1 of a best-of-3 series. Game 2 tomorrow in Waynesboro. As Parker Sinnett back out there for the top of the 7th. He took over for Dylan Yannock after Yannock went 5. And the first pitch to Stephen Wilmer is outside 1-0.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Tom Sox can overcome the score right now with the home field advantage tonight that they earned.
Well, 1-0 is popped way up. High in the air out behind second base. Foster's out. Amos is in. Foster drops the ball. Cole Foster dropped the ball. And safe at first base is Stephen Wilmer. That's going to go down as an E6, but Amos, I think that's his ball to call Foster off of, but Foster 10 out of 10 times should catch that ball.
Yeah, communication is definitely key there, and as you mentioned, that was popped way high up, and it was in his glove, just popped right out.
Yeah, Foster tried to catch that one down around the letters, instead of sticking the glove hand up and catching it with two hands, tried to squeeze it with one around the chest, and it results in an E6 and puts Stephen Wilmer on at first base. For the top of the lineup, Michael Robinson, and he takes a first pitch fastball outside corner, 0-1.
That's just something that the Tom Sox definitely can't afford right now. Easy mistakes like that.
Free bases will come back to haunt you in the playoffs, and they've given them a couple so far today. The 0-1 upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike as Ochoa thought about a snap throw down to first, but holds the ball. Now, Tom Sox, 2 errors so far today, and the one from Pierce Bennett back in the 5th really hurt, as instead of having just a runner on second and 1 out, it put runners on second and third with nobody out, led to a 3-run 5th. Out's runner on first, nobody out, as a breaking ball gets away from Ochoa and gets all the way to the backstop on the first base side, and Stephen Wilmer advances to second base on a wild pitch.
Yeah, with Foster with that mistake, at least he had that spin throw out behind second before, so hopefully he can redeem himself later in the game for that.
And I think Stephen Wilmer, if he had a chance to do that again, will tell you he probably should have been on second base, as Isert went out for the pop-up, Foster went out for the pop-up, so there was nobody covering second base, and it was hit so high that he had plenty of time to get there. Right now it's 2 balls and 1 strike, as Wilmer now stands on second base after the wild pitch. Michael Robinson at the dish. He's 1 for 3 today. Singled and drove in a run in that 3-run 5th inning. Tom Sox haven't scored since the bottom of the first. And a 2-1 is a good breaking ball there that Robinson tried to check his swing on, but he could not, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. As a matter of fact, the Tom Sox haven't had a base runner since the first. R.J. Ochoa, the last Tom Sox to reach base, way back with 2 outs in the first when he walked and with the bases loaded. The 2-2 to Robinson's hit on the ground too short. Going to third with the throw, and it is in time to get the runner, Wilmer. Wilmer saw the ball was hit slowly, tried to break for third. Foster alertly threw to third and cut him down 6-5, something that you don't see too often, and not really a smart base running play there by Stephen Wilmer. Michael Robinson's aboard on the fielder's choice and almost atoning for that mistake, like you said, Brooke, and there's a runner on first now with 1 out here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, that was a nice scoop by Foster, but a little bit of a low throw, but Bennett was ready to pick it up and tag the runner out.
Will Prater now squares to bunt, but pulls it back, and the pitch misses. It's 1-0. Prater laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 5th inning, which advanced runners to second and third with 1 out, but then Yannick was able to get a strikeout and a flyout to strand those runners. Bluffing from first base, and the pitch runs in and hits Will Prater, so he'll be on first. Robinson, after bluffing the steal, now will get to go to second base, and it's first and second with only 1 out here in the top of the 7th.
I mean, what's helping the Generals so much right now is getting hit by these pitches.
Yeah, they've worn, I believe, 3 pitches now today, taking advantage of some Tom Sox errors, and in the postseason, any free base, any extra base runner, any extra out you can get is huge. 1 out, 3-1 ball game. Top of the 7th. Alejandro Figuereto, 0 for 3 today. Bats with runners on first and second. Generals trying to add on. Parker Stinnett trying to work out of trouble. First pitch misses low, 1-0. Figueredo was the strikeout victim last time. Yannick caught him looking, and it was a huge strikeout because it allowed that Alonso Rubalcaba fly ball to right to be the final out of the inning. The 1-0 from Stinnett paints the outside corner with a fastball and evens the count 1-1. Still 3-1 out in Stanton between the Braves and the Turks. It's also 3-1 here. Waynesboro leads. Stinnett checks the runner at second. Now comes home. The pitch is in the dirt. Breaking from second, and the throw from Ochoa is in time at third base. Robinson read the pitch in the dirt and tried to break for third, but Ochoa made a good stop, got up, and gunned him at third base. And for the Generals, that's the second runner cut down at third base this inning.
Not only was that a great throw by Ochoa, but Bennett to be there on the base and to scoop it up and make sure that he tagged him still after. He was really alert in the moment.
So it's 2 balls and a strike now on Alejandro Figuereto.
It looks like the Generals coach is not happy with that call at third, talking to the umpire.
Yeah, out to discuss that one is Zach Cole. With no replay system, it's going to be tough to argue that one because the ball beat Robinson by a decent bit. It was a really strong throw by Ochoa, who's made some nice stops behind the plate. That one included. He had to go out to his right to stop that one. Kept it close enough, and it looks like Cole is satisfied with his explanation from Greg Howard as he goes back to the third base dugout. 2 outs now and a runner on first base. Figueredo ahead in the count, 2-1. As Prater leads off first, he's held on there by Wyatt Langford.
Have some Generals fans cheering him on right now as he's up to bat.
Stinnett rocking the long pants, but the green socks showing around the ankle. Righty on righty matchup. He kicks and deals, and a curveball doesn't break enough. It's misses high, and it's 3-1 now. An inning that, I mean, the Generals are kind of running themselves out of, to be quite frank. Amos playing deep in center field, shaded a step or two towards right center, and the pitch is hit to right center, spikes over to his right a couple of steps, puts this one away, no problem to retire the side. So a whole lot to do about nothing there as Waynesboro does not score in the top of the 7th. It's time to stretch at Crutchfield Park. The Generals lead 3-1. 16 in a row set down by Bradley Wilson as he's back out on the bump for the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Wyatt Langford, R.J. Ochoa, and Garrett Spikes due up for the Tom Sox, who trail 3-1 here. Have not had a base runner since way back in the 1st inning. Wilson has been on cruise control in his first pitch to Langford. Misses high with a breaking ball, 1-0. Langford is 0 for 1 today. Walked back in that 1st inning and lined out to center his last time up, and he takes another breaking ball, that one in there, 1-1. He lined out hard to center to lead off the 4th, and he hit that ball right on the screws. It just hung up for Weller out there in center, and the 1-1 fastball is upstairs. 2-1 now.
And as we mentioned earlier, Langford's 16 game on-base streak ended on Friday, and he currently had the longest on-base streak for the Tom Sox.
The 2-1 to him is rolled to third. Araz fields that one in foul territory, and it evens the count 2-2, and I think that's a good break for the Generals because Langford was chugging down the line. He probably would have beat that one out. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Langford, who, as you mentioned, did lose that on-base streak, and he rekindled it today, looking to start a new one. He was also subbed out after only 2 at-bats last game. Garrett Spikes, who stands in the hole, came in for him. Counts even 2-2 now. And a breaking ball misses high, and it's full now, and this is probably the best Tom Sox at-bat since way back in that first inning. Langford piecing together 3 solid ABs today, and he lines the 3-2 to left field. Pimento going back, he's not going to get there, it's over his head and bounds over the left center field wall for a ground rule double for Wyatt Langford. And that's how the Tom Sox get things going here in the bottom of the 7th as they look to come back from a 3-1 deficit.
That was definitely a hit that the Tom Sox needed right there. What a beautiful swing from Langford.
The first base runner since the first inning, and it breaks a string of 16 in a row that Wilson set down. There is action down in the pen as the rain continues to fall. Down in the Generals pen, that is. Someone loosening. RJ Ochoa now, runner on second, nobody out, bottom of the 7th. The first pitch from Wilson, up and in, look out.
Yeah, and as you mentioned the rain, it looks like we can actually see it coming down more now. Before it was just misty, but hopefully this doesn't affect the game here.
It's starting to pick up a little bit. As Wilson set at the belt, checks Langford twice at second base, now comes home. The 1-0 to Ochoa is on the inside corner, 1-1.
Looks like the dedicated fans, though, are still staying with their umbrellas, too, handy.
Some stirring in the Tom Sox bullpen down the right field line. As Wilson comes home with the 1-1, and he misses high. 2 balls and a strike on the Tom Sox backstop today. Crowd at Crutchfield Park trying to breathe some life into this Tom Sox offense, and going to have a meeting on the mound.
I'm not sure if I can see that far away from the Generals who's warming up in their bullpen, but it looks like number 4 to me from what I can see, but who is Ronaldo Fernandez, but that's just a guess until I can see who it is closer.
Yeah, tough vantage point from up here in the press box to see the numbers in either bullpen, and that's why we rely on some of the great fans and great camera people here at Crutchfield who relay the numbers to us. But meeting on the mound still going on as Fred Shaner takes a few steps out to go break it up, and this could be to stall a little bit of time to let whoever's loosening down in the bullpen get some more pitches in.
Now, I just did see number 10 on the Generals, Dalton Montagna, walk over there, too, to watch who is warming up next to him.
87 pitches so far today for Wilson. He's behind in the count to Ochoa, 2 balls and 1 strike. So Ochoa had that walk with the bases loaded in the first and lined out to right in the 4th. So he's 0 for 1 with an RBI. It's 3-1 Generals, bottom of the 7th. Game 1 in a best-of-3 series between the Tom Sox and the Generals. We're ready to go now, and Wilson's 2-1. Finds the top of the strike zone. Ochoa didn't like it. But the count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Wow, we have a game update in Stanton and Harrisonburg. Stanton currently has the lead 5-1 now.
Ochoa calls time and steps out as the rain really picking up. Wilson checks Langford, now the 2-2, and he got Ochoa out in front, and he pops it up in the infield. Figuereto settles under it and squeezes that one with 2 hands for the first out of the inning.
And speaking of this other game, I wonder if the rain is going to affect that game. I mean, if it's in Stanton or Harrisonburg, you know, they're not that far away from us right now, so that game could be affected with the rain as well.
1 out for Garrett Spikes. He's out in right field today, and he's 0 for 2 at the dish. Seen some action out in right. Langford leads off second. Wilson checks him a couple times, now kicks and deals, and the first pitch to Spikes is a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. The shortstop, Michael Robinson, is keeping Langford close at second. And the 0-1 misses in the dirt, blocked behind the plate by Rubalcaba, and evens the count, a ball and a strike.
It looks like Tom Sox fans are getting rattled up. We have a fan saying, let's just win this ball game.
Certainly important to get the first game in any playoff series, but even more so in a best of three. Tom Sox have not had much success in Waynesboro. It's where they'll be tomorrow. The 1-1. Hit hard on the ground to second base, but scooped up by Prater. Goes on to first in time to retire Spikes. Langford advances to third, though, and there's a runner 90 feet away for Cole Foster with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
This is a great position for Cole to see if he could bring in Langford, standing there on third base.
Foster finished his regular season pretty hot. Finished it at 252, but he really started heating up towards the end. Knocked in 9 runs, trying to pick up his first postseason RBI here as Langford stands on third. Wilson opts to go from the windup, holds the glove at his face, now drops it to the belt as he winds and deals. The first pitch to Foster is up and away, 1-0. Foster still batting from the left side. Slightly open stance, stands in the middle of the box, and the 1-0, big cut at that one, and he waves through it. It's a ball and a strike now. Robinson still shading up the middle at short and leaves a big hole on the left side of the infield. The 1-1 to Foster is fouled off third base side, out of play. And now Wilson is ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes to what could be his final batter of tonight's ball game.
It's interesting that Foster has been here the whole time with the Tom Sox, and he's played in 39 out of 40 games this season.
He awaits a 1-2, and here it is, and it's up and away. Tried to get him to chase a fastball out of the zone. No bite from Foster, and it's 2-2. Eisert stands on deck and represents the go-ahead run here, bottom of the 7th, 3-1 Generals. The pitch from Wilson, swing and a miss, struck him out, and Wilson lets out a yell and flexes as he looks towards the Tom Sox dugout. The Charlottesville Tom Sox strand a runner 90 feet away and still trail it 3-1 as we head to the top of the 8th. Waynesboro Generals lead the Tom Sox 3-1 here in game 1 of the first game of this best of 3 series, round 1. And it looks like Braylon Skinner has come into the game. For Victor Castillo, he moves to center field, and Logan Amos moves from center to right.
Skinner is also a part of the national championship team at Mississippi State, along with Stinnett.
So both Bulldogs in. And it'll be Alonzo Rubalcaba to lead things off here, top of the 8th. The first pitch. Breaking ball finds the outside corner No balls and 1 strike. Stinnett found himself in a little bit of trouble last inning, but got out of it unscathed. The 0-1 and another good breaking ball. It's no balls and 2 strikes. It'll be Rubalcaba, Pimento, and Aruz for the Generals as they look to add some insurance runs. Bradley Wilson has been nothing short of fantastic for them. The 0-2 is fouled away first base side as Stinnett tried to blow a fastball by him upstairs, and just able to spoil that one was Rubalcaba.
It looks like the infield is playing a little bit back right now.
Outfield also straight up as the 0-2 tries to give him to chase a slider outside. No bite though, and the count's a ball and 2 strikes. Rubalcaba is 0 for 2 today. Walked in the second. Went down on strikes in the fourth and flew out to Garrett Spikes in right in the fifth. Stinnett. The full windup and the 1-2. Another breaking ball. This one checking his swing successfully as Rubalcaba, and the count evens 2-2. Stinnett ready now. Here's the 2-2. And he misses outside, and Rubalcaba's come all the way back from down 0-2 to even the count back to full. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. So with Castillo's day being done, he finishes 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts as Skinner comes in for him. And the payoff pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. Stinnett wins the battle as Rubalcaba fans on a breaking ball. And there's 1 out here in the top of the 8th. That'll bring up Stinnett's Mississippi State teammate, Brandon Pimento, who we got to ground out to Cole Foster on the first pitch last time up. First pitch now is a breaking ball in the dirt, 1-0.
It sounds like our wonderful promotions team is getting all the fans rattled up. Let's go Tom Sox. They're all screaming.
The lefty is up and throwing in the Tom Sox bullpen. Stinnett's 1-0. Curveball finds the zone, 1-1. Pimento 0 for 3. Had that ground out to short against the net. Also bounced out to first and grounded out to short another time. And he's way out in front of a curveball there. He swings and misses, and it's 1-2 now. Stinnett 3 strikeouts already today. Looking for number 4, trying to dispose of his collegiate teammate, and he does so as he gets him to chase a curveball in the dirt. Ochoa blocks it and has to throw down to Langford at first in time for the second out of the inning. So 2 strikeouts to start out the top half of the 8th inning for Parker Stinnett, and the base is empty with 2 down for Alex Aruz. He's 0 for 1 today. Struck out looking. And the first pitch had him well fooled on a curveball. Buckled him, and it drops in for a strike, 0-1.
And Aruz is a senior out of Faulkner University.
The 0-1 blew a fastball right by him, and Stinnett can go anywhere now. He's up 0-2. Looking to strike out the side. The windup, the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Parker Stinnett strikes out the side and holds the deficit at 3-1 as the Tom Sox look to add some runs going to the bottom of the 8th inning. home half of the 8th inning as Bradley Wilson, his day is done. He goes 7 innings, strikes out 5, walks 2, gives up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned. And Ronaldo Fernandez on now as Garrick Ebel will pinch hit for Eddie Eisert to lead off the bottom of the 8th. And Brooke, what can you tell us about Mr. Fernandez on the hill?
Well, it looks like I was right. I thought I saw him warming up, but he has 7.2 innings pitched. He has a 2.34 ERA.
So Garrick Ebel bats for Eddie Eisert, and the first pitch from the righty Fernandez is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Eisert exits, having an 0 for 2 performance. Fernandez, a right-handed pitcher, working from the first base side of the rubber and fires in a fastball 1-1.
And it looks like Fernandez is a sophomore out of Florida Southwestern. Now, I believe Alex Elia, who is a previous Tom Sox player who was just drafted to the Rays, played for them as well.
Blows a fastball by Ebel, and he's ahead in the count 1-2. And Carlos Rodriguez, who also was selected in this year's draft, he only pitched a couple of innings for the Tom Sox, but also a Florida Southwestern member. Ebel's down, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch fouls it off. Count holds 1-2. Ebel's 0 for 1 last night, and he was part of the trio of catchers that Coach Corey Kohler used. We mentioned Cooper Ingalls started the game, then Ochoa came in for the 4th through 6th. Ebel came in the 7th. 0 for 1. Comes in having a regular season in which he was tied for 4th in walks in the entire league with 27. An on-base machine in danger of striking out here, and he takes a slider low and away, and the count's 2-2.
Ebel also had a season high of a 3-run home run at Stanton on July 15th.
His only long ball of the season, and it was a no-doubter. Count's even, 2-2, and here's the pitch. And he hits this one in the air out behind second base. Prater drifting back into shallow right center, gloves this one no problem for the first out.
It looks like we're back at the top with Pierce Bennett up to bat.
So Bennett digs in. He's 1 for 3 so far today, and the Tom Sox, they've only got 3 hits. 2 of them were the first 2 batters of the ballgame. Pierce Bennett and Logan Amos, who stands on deck. 3-1. Generals lead in the first pitch to Bennett. Fastball in there, strike 1. Braylon Skinner is in the hole. He came in for Victor Castillo last inning defensively. The 0-1 is skied out shallow left center field. Going back is Robinson to squeeze this one. 2 up, 2 down for Ronaldo Fernandez as he comes on in relief of Bradley Wilson and picks up right where he left off.
It looks like there was just 2 easy pop-up outs in a row, but Braylon Skinner's coming up to bat shortly.
It'll be Logan Amos up now. He moved from center to left field when Skinner, who stands on deck, entered the game. He's 1 for 3 today. The first pitch misses low and away with a fastball 1-0. He slapped a single through the left side, that 5.5 hole, which he likes to use a lot, likes to use that left center gap. We've seen him hit a couple of doubles there this year. Robinson was shaded somewhat up the middle, now moves back to the normal spot as Weller. A couple steps towards right center, and the 1-0 to Amos is fouled off. Foul down the third base line, out of play, 1-1. Amos also bounced out to short and to third, as the Tom Sox have just been stymied by this Waynesboro General pitching staff here in Game 1. It's a best of 3, so 1-1 misses low, gets all the way to the backstop, 2-1. Game 2 will be tomorrow in Waynesboro, and mentioned multiple times, but it's worth saying again. Got to win 2 to advance, and then the winner plays the winner of the Stanton and Harrisonburg series. The North getting their postseason action underway tomorrow.
Yeah, in that game, it looks like Harrisonburg is trying to come back, but Stanton Still holds the lead, but it's now 5-3.
2-1 misses inside, and Amos is ahead in the count now. 3 balls and a strike.
And speaking of Amos right now, he's batting .301 on the season, and he's only one of 3 batters to hit over 300 on the team.
The 3-1 pitch to him is bounced up the middle, fielded behind the second base bag by Robinson on 2 hops, throws in 1 fluid motion to first base in time to retire Amos and retire the Tom Sox 1-2-3 in the 8th inning. Waynesboro Generals will look to add some insurance runs in the top of the 9th as they're just 3 outs away from beating the Tom Sox in Game 1. They lead it 3-1. The rain has subdued here at Crutchfield Park as Parker Stinnett goes back out for his 4th inning of work. He's tossed 3 shutout innings so far in relief of Dylan Yanak, who surrendered 3 runs in the top of the 5th. And Tom Sox scored once in the bottom of the 1st. That's how we got here. It's 3-1. Will Safford now in at second base. He comes in for Gary Giebel, who pinch hit for Eddie Eisert. Rest of the defensive alignment remains the same. The first pitch of the top of the 9th from Parker Stinnett is in there for a strike to Joey Rezick.
Yes, we're seeing some changes, but it's interesting that we've only had 2 pitchers in this whole time.
0-1 to Rezick is hit high in the air to right field, fairly deep but playable for Spikes, who backs up a couple steps in front of the track, reaches up with both hands, and makes the catch for the first out of the top of the 9th.
Center fielder number 21, Max Weller.
Yes, that hit and that ball went right into Spike's position. He didn't really have to move that much, just backed up in the tracks, like you said, right into his glove.
1 out for Max Weller now. Nobody on base. Top of the 9th inning. Parker Stinnett winds and deals. First pitch, fastball outside corner, 0-1. For the Tom Sox in the bottom of the 9th, they'll have Braylon Skinner, Adam Cesiri, and Wyatt Langford as Stinnett blows a fastball by Weller. No balls and 2 strikes. Stinnett looking to keep this a 3-1 ball game for the meat of this Tom Sox lineup as they look to walk it off here in Game 1. 0-2 bounces. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody up and throwing in either bullpen. So likely we'll see Ronaldo Fernandez back out for the 9th after he worked a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. The 1-2 from Stinnett is hit in the air to left field. Amos in, now back a few steps, puts this one away for out number 2.
Almost the same as out 1, except it's in left field this time. He didn't really have to move much, Skinner, just over a little bit.
So 2 outs, base is empty. Stephen Wilmer now, the 9-hole hitter, who's hit by a pitch in the 3rd, singled and drove in a run in the 5th, and reached on an error in the 7th. Parker Stinnett looks to work a clean top of the 9th. First pitch, curveball, outside corner, 0-1. Stinnett has really pitched well since coming in for Yanak. He struck out the side in the 8th. He's got 5 strikeouts through 3 2/3. The 0-1 pitch bounces up there, and it's a ball and a strike.
He has pitched really well, and he's only 2 strikes away from heading into the final inning of this game.
He peers in, now winds and deals. The 1-1 is high and away, 2-1. Infield and outfield both straight up for Stephen Wilmer. Top of the order, Michael Robinson stands on deck. Should Wilmer keep things going here in the top of the ninth. The 2-1 from Stinnett. Another curveball that bends over the outside edge. And it evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. With 2 outs here, top half of the ninth inning. Waynesboro, 3 defensive outs away from stealing game 1 in Charlottesville. They lead at 3-1. Here's the 2-2. Upstairs, and the count's full, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wilmer.
1 strike away as the fans are ready to head into the final batting.
Stinnett looking for strikeout number 6. The windup, the payoff pitch. Freezes in with a curveball, strike 3 called. Stinnett struts off the mound, and the Tom Sox go back to the dugout. Down 3-1, looking for runs as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Last chance for the Charlottesville Tom Sox. They trail the Waynesboro Generals 3-1 here in the bottom of the ninth, as Ronaldo Fernandez is back on the mound for the bottom of the ninth, looking to slam the door and pick up the save. He had 1 save during the regular season. It'll be Braylon Skinner, Adam Cesiri, and Wyatt Langford due up for the Tom Sox, needing 2 runs to force extra innings, 3 to win it.
That's a good do-up lineup, and Skinner here, part of the national winning team, as I stated earlier.
The first pitch to him, and he takes a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Braylon Skinner, his first trip up to the plate today. He came in for Victor Castillo. The 0-1. Misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike, and Braylon Skinner's the kind of guy that you want to set the table. He's got a game-changing kind of speed where he can get on base and steal a couple of bags, put himself into scoring position, wreak havoc on the bases. The 1-1 pitch to him, and it runs inside, and it looked like it hit him. No signal from Fred Shaner behind home plate, but
yeah, he doesn't look happy with that. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's like, that hit me in the back of my left leg, but the umpire says we keep going.
It bounced up to the plate. Looked like it hit him in the foot, but it's just ruled a ball. It's 2 balls and a strike to Braylon Skinner. The 2-1. On the outside corner, and Skinner not a fan of that call either. That one looked like it might have been a bit outside. But Shaner calls it a strike, and the count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And as you mentioned earlier, he's key on base. His on-base streak is currently 6 games.
Did have 2 walks last night, stole a bag. The 2-2 misses low. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Full count here, waiting to see if he's going to get walked or can get a hit.
A big pitch coming from Ronaldo Fernandez. Last thing you want to do in a 3-1 ball game is put the leadoff runner aboard, especially a guy like Skinner in the bottom of the ninth with the big bats behind him. The windup and the payoff pitch. Swung on, and a soft line drive that bounces once before it reaches the second baseman, Prater. A quick throw over to first is just in time to get a hustling Braylon Skinner. And there's one out here in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, speaking of hustling, props to Skinner for still running that out. I know he looked at it and knew that hop was right in his glove, but still running that out was really important because it ended up being a little close at first baseline.
One out now for Adam Cesiri. He's 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts. Was robbed back in the 6th inning on a great play by Will Prater. First pitch to him is outside 1-0.
Yes, and as we mentioned, Cesiri has the most home runs for the Tom Sox this season, but hasn't been able to hit this game yet.
The 1-0 pitch to him is outside as well, and it's 2-0. Langford to follow, and then Ochoa should the inning get there. Right now, Adam Cesiri's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Waynesboro Generals looking to snag game 1 on the road in Charlottesville. The 2-0. On the outside corner, 2 balls and a strike. Detailed all season long, or all night long rather, how Tom Sox have had fits with the Generals, and tonight, no different. The 2-1 misses low, and Cesiri's way up now, 3 balls and a strike. And Cesiri's the kind of guy that has enough power to leave the yard, but right now, you almost value base runners more than a home run.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, this series has been really up and down this whole year, but the Sox actually defeated the Generals 2-1 in the first round of playoffs in 2018.
Fernandez gains his composure, now steps back on the mound. Takes a deep breath, now goes from the full windup. The 3-1. A good two-seamer finds the outer edge, and the count's full to Cesiri now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Skinner worked a full count to lead off the bottom of the 9th and grounded out to second. It's now full to Adam Cesiri with the bases empty, 1 out. The payoff pitch misses low, ball 4. Cesiri draws a walk, and the tying run is at the plate in the form of Wyatt Langford. And now, all eyes go towards the Tom Sox dugout and see if they're going to pinch run for Cesiri. It looks like they're going to leave him out there at first base. As Langford digs in, 1 out, bottom of the 9th, 3-1 Generals lead. Langford has put together the best at-bats of any Tom Sox player by far today. He's 1 for 2, walked in the first, lined out on a screaming line drive to center field in the 4th, and doubled to lead off the 7th. Only player to reach base twice. And he takes the first pitch in there, 0-1. He represents the tying run as Cesiri takes a very short lead off of first. Fernandez set, comes home, the 0-1. Just off the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rubalcaba tried to steal a strike there.
And as you mentioned, Langford currently has the longest on-base streak with 16, as that was before, but now he is restarting that tonight and looking to get back on base again right here.
Middle infield, pinched at the second base bag, looking for 2. Fernandez steps off, no throw over to first. Langford steps out, looks at his bat, takes a deep breath as Fernandez retoes the rubber. A ball and a strike to Langford. Righty on righty matchup. The 1-1 misses low, 2-1.
Looks like Langford is taking his time as he's going back up to the box again.
High intensity moments here at Crutchfield Park. A crucial game 1 of a best-of-3 series between the number 1 seed Charlottesville Tom Sox, who rolled through the regular season at 30-10.
It's interesting that
Generals, 2-1 foul back, 2-2.
Langford ranks 7th in the VBO with a .345 BA.
one of the most consistent hitters for the Tom Sox all year, is locked in a 2-2 count with Ronaldo Fernandez. 1 out, top of the 9th. Here's the pitch. And he hits this one on the ground to short. Robinson bobbles the flip. It's picked up at second while Prater was standing on the bag, and Cesiri could not get there in time. What looked like a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play. Robinson tried to rush the flip a little bit. It fell out of his glove and rolled right to Prater, who was standing on second base. So it will go down as a fielder's choice. Langford's aboard, 2 outs for R.J. Ochoa, who certainly has the power to knot this ball game up.
I really thought that he dropped the ball as Cesiri got on the base, but umpire said no.
The first pitch to Ochoa is up and in, and it gets away from the catcher, Rubalcaba, and goes all the way to the backstop. So Langford will advance to second on the pass ball. I mean, it really doesn't matter too much. Langford's run doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot to the Generals. The tying run does stand at the plate, though, in the form of R.J. Ochoa. Generals lead 3-1, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Garrett Spikes is on deck. Ochoa so far today is 0 for 2. He's the one that walked way back in the first inning with the bases loaded, and it scored the only Tom Sox run. The 1-0 is up and in, and it gets off the glove of Rubalcaba again, and once again all the way to the backstop. And Wyatt Langford now 90 feet away at third base, but once again, really not the concern of the Waynesboro Generals. So Langford now on third. It's 2 balls and no strikes to R.J. Ochoa.
Yeah, and Ochoa's latest season highs was against Harrisonburg on July 16th, where he had a home run and 2 walks.
Now working from the windup is Fernandez, and the 2-1 is on the inside corner, or the 2-0 rather is on the inside corner, 2 balls and a strike. Tom Sox down to their final out here in game 1. The 2-1. Inside, 3 balls and a strike now to Ochoa. He's the tying run. Garrett Spikes on deck is the winning run. Langford on third base. Fernandez taking his time as he steps back on the rubber. Deep breath. Trying to notch the save here in game 1 is just as he's about to go in the windup. Ochoa calls time, and it's granted by Fred Shaner behind the plate. 3-1 to Ochoa. Bradley Wilson worked 7 marvelous innings for Waynesboro. The 3-1. Outside corner, strike 2. Ochoa thought it was ball 4, and he was starting to make his way down to first base, and he'll have to go back into the right-handed batter's box for a payoff pitch.
Yeah, and he just had some words with the umpire there, but he's looking to get back set in the box, and Langford's looking to lead off third.
The windup, the payoff pitch, here it is. Swung on and popped up in the infield. Foul territory, third base side. Going over and putting this one away is a ruse. And the Waynesboro Generals come into Crutchfield Park and steal game 1 on the road against the top-seeded Charlottesville Tom Sox by a score of 3-1. We'll be back tomorrow in Waynesboro as the Generals will look to advance to the South Division Finals.
Yeah, what a crucial game tomorrow for the Tom Sox. They obviously need that win tomorrow in Waynesboro, which has been difficult for them this season, but they have done it before. They just beat them there recently, so very crucial game tomorrow. You'll be there, so hopefully you get to see them win and carry on this series.
I mean, the story of the day, though, was really Bradley Wilson. He came on, had a very rough first inning, but after that, set down 16 straight Tom Sox, wound up going 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 hits, only 1 run. He walks away with the win. It's Ronaldo Fernandez who gets the save, and the loss goes to Dylan Yanak, who it's a tough loss because he was really cruising until that 5th inning.
Yeah, definitely. I know you mentioned for the Generals their pitching was great, but obviously, like I said earlier in the broadcast, if you can't hit and get runs, you're not going to win. And it looks like the past 2 nights, the Tom Sox just couldn't get on the bat right.
Yeah, both nights they scored once in the bottom of the 1st and nothing else. So Coach Corey Kohler's going to have to find a way to light a spark under his offense tomorrow, or else the Charlottesville Tom Sox season will come to an end much quicker than I'm sure they anticipated.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to defend their last title. Now, obviously, we didn't have last season due to COVID-19, but they are defending champions. In 2019, they're looking to repeat that again.
So the defending champs have their backs against the wall as they go to Waynesboro tomorrow. Game 3, if necessary, we'll be back here in Charlottesville. Thank you so much for spending the evening with us. For Brooke Stake and the entire Charlottesville Tom Sox team, I'm Zach Lambert. Waynesboro steals Game 1 on the road and takes a 1-0 series lead as they beat the Tom Sox by a score of 3-1.